back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing great. So in today's video I have created this look right here, which is a complete party look. Now the festive season is around the corner, so I thought I would create something that would be very festive appropriate, and this is going to be beautiful with all of your festive wears and anything for that matter. And if you just want to wear something really dark and smoky and party ready, then this look is going to be completely appropriate for that. So yes, if you guys want to know how I created this look, then please keep on watching. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then please take a moment to subscribe. And now without any delay, let's begin. Now I started off by using a moisturizer. This is the one from Loreal, and I'm just applying it all over my face to keep my skin hydrated and ready for makeup. Now to color correct, I'm using a darker shade concealer from NYX. This is the HD Studio Photogenic Concealer in the shade 07. Now instead of using an orange corrector, I would advise you to go with this technique of using a darker shade concealer beneath your foundation, so your hyperpigmentations and your discolorations are corrected. And then I'm using a beauty blender to blend it all away. I'm not moving the product anywhere else. And then once I'm happy with the blending, I'm taking the sponge to my under eyes to color correct if there's any discoloration. I'm not using any more product. I'm just doing it with whatever is left on the sponge. And if you have hyperpigmentations or if you have dark circles, then you can apply this technique wherever you want to color correct all over your face. Now for foundation, I'm using a L'Oreal True Match in the shade Caramel Dore, and this is perfect for my skin tone. This has those gold reflex, so this looks really beautiful. Now I'm using the same beauty blender to blend it all across my face. I'm going one section at a time. I'm not dotting it all over my face and then blending it, because doing that might lead to dried patches once your makeup is set and dry. So always try to concentrate one area at a time, so that you will also be able to achieve that flawless finish, and at the same time you can get very natural and a full coverage look. Now to remove all the excess, I'm using the bottom of the sponge, so this way you will be able to have that natural looking base. And then for concealer, I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal, which is one of my favorite concealers, and I'm using the shade Medium Beige. I'm just applying it only in the corners of my under eyes. I'm not going to fill up all my under eyes with concealer, because I used to do that, which is really bad and doesn't look good in person. So I'm just going to apply it only in the corners, and that would give me a good lifted look. And I'm also applying it on my chin and on the bridge of my nose, so it is a little bit highlighted. Again, using the same beauty blender, I'm blending it all away. Now I'm not going to move the product, or I'm not going to drag this all over my eyes. I'm trying to concentrate on that particular area so that it gives me a good payoff. And once I'm happy with the coverage, I'm going to take the product all across my under eyes so it covers all the discolorations, whatever is there. Now I'm also taking the product to my lid space so that it's well prepped for the eye makeup. Now to set my concealer in place, I'm using this banana baking powder from Makeup Revolution, and I'm using the same beauty blender to press some powder onto my under eyes so that the concealer doesn't move and doesn't crease. Now I'm moving on to my eyes, for which I'm using the Jaclyn Hills Dark Magic palette. I'm picking up this brown color shade and using it as my transition shade today using a fluffy brush. Now for the next step, I'm using this olive green shade from the palette, and I'm applying it on my crease area so that this gives a nice gradient to the colors that we're going to apply later. Now for the next step, to give some nice dimension and depth, I'm using this dark green shade and I'm depositing it on the outer corner and trying to blend this on my crease area. So whenever you're using a darker eyeshadow, always try to build up the color instead of depositing too much at once, because that will give you a very hard time to blend it and it is not going to look seamless at all. Now to intensify my outer corner more, I'm using the dark brown and the black shade from the palette, and I'm applying it on my outer corners. I'm just depositing the color, I'm not blending it, so it remains on the same area. So once I'm happy with all of that, I'm going to cut my crease, for which I'm using a concealer and a flat shader brush. Now I'm just depositing the color on the center of my eyelids. I'm looking up so that I will know where to cut the crease. And keeping that as a reference line, I'm connecting it to the inner corner and cleaning up the lid space using the same concealer. And then I picked up the lightest shade from the palette, and using a flat shader brush, I'm just filling up the first third of my eyes, that is the inner corners of my eye. And then I'm applying this olive green shade as a base coat so that the shimmer will pop better. So I'm applying it in the mid section, that is in the center of my lids. And then to make it pop better, I'm using this bottle green shimmer shade from the palette using my fingers, and I'm applying it on the top of that base coat that we've already applied. Now finally, I'm using the same olive green shade to blend the edges so that they don't look harsh. And then moving on to brows, I'm using this brow stylist pomade from Loreal. This is in the shade Deep Brunette, and I'm filling up my brows as usual. Lastly, I picked up the same dark green shade that we used on the outer corners. I'm applying it on the lower lash line using a pencil brush for the 3/4 of my eyes, and the inner 1/3 will be filled with that white shade, the lightest shade that we used. Now to give my face a little bit of warmth and a dimension, I'm using this butter bronzer from Physicians Formula and just bronzing my face up. And I'm also using a little bit on my forehead so that it looks a little bit small. And then for blush, I'm using this Nykaa's blush palette, and I'm placing the color right on my cheeks and then fixing my entire face with a fixing spray from ELF. And now dabbing it with a beauty blender so that it all looks merged and blended. And now moving on to the highlighter, I'm using the Revolution's Illuminate highlighter, and I'm just applying it on the highest point of my cheeks and the bridge of my nose, and also in the inner corners so it looks, a little bit highlighted. And then for lips, I'm using this lip crayon from Faces Canada, and I'm also topping it off using a lip gloss. I'm just dotting a little bit on the centers of my upper and lower lips. I think this product is from Nyx. I will anyway mention all the products in the description box. And that's it. And that's my final look, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. I hope you would also recreate this look. If you do, then please don't forget to tag me in your pictures. I would love to check them out. And yep, I will see you guys in my next video. Until then, bye.